Hey booktube, welcome to my channel. I thought today I would talk about my March TBR. I'm a little late in the game, but I think this will do. So I have a rather ambitious TBR this month because I have set some reading goals for this year, but I also decided kinda to get myself going on this channel to join 2 readathons. So let me start by telling you about the books that I already finished. There are 2 that I started before March, but I finished in early March, and those were The Golem and the Genie by Helene Wecker. I do recommend. I'll talk about it more later, but yeah, it was a good book. It's rather slow in the beginning, but it gained on me. As it went along, I got more and more immersed, and it sped up in the end, and it became, yeah, really good. And then I read an Icelandic book called, in translation, The Emotional Revolution. It's by Auður Jónsdóttir. But I guess I won't talk much about it since it's an Icelandic and you guys can't read it. I started and finished in March already a few books. I read Witch's Cliff by Peggy Chambers. It's a novella that I got through NetGalley, an ARC. And then I read a special editions comic of the Wonder Woman. One of my goals this year was to get out of my comfort zone a little bit, and so I decided this month I would try to read a comic book, and if I liked it, that I would probably read more comic books this year and even try out some manga, and I liked it. So, and then I read Cinder, which I have here. I got it from the library and I could not put it down. I finished it in a single day. It was my day off from work, so yeah, I read a lot and didn't do a lot of housework that day, but yeah, I'm happy. I liked it. And I read Flipping ADHD on Its Head by Jim Poole. It's about ADHD, obviously. It's this doctor that writes it who is not against medication, but it feels like there's an overemphasis on drugs, and we are not, as a society, doing everything that we can do to help these kids with ADHD, other than just giving them meds, which essentially tells them that there's something wrong with them, but then we don't really give them any other ways to function better and to succeed in life. And I really enjoyed that book too. It was easy to read, and I thought that the advice was helpful. Yeah. And I started The Unblessed Child, which is a self-pub by R.J. Caldanis. I'm reading it on my Kindle app here on my phone, so I don't have it right here. The same goes for The Witch's Cliff, The Wonder Woman, and Flipping ADHD. And it's about this, I don't want to spoil it, but it's about these people. Well, there's one girl who is born into a family of people who have water magic. It's a society that is built on elemental magic, and the 4 primary elementals: fire, water, earth, air. And then there's the main character who is unblessed, which means she doesn't have any magical abilities. So yeah, I don't think I can really say much more, because that's going to spoil the book for you guys. But I'm enjoying it. It's a self-published book. I recommend it. It comes out, I got an advanced reader's copy, and I think it comes out later this month. So check it out. And then I decided to join the backlist readathon, which started today while I'm filming this video, March 9th, and it ends on this Sunday, March 15th, I think. First challenge is read your shortest backlist title, and that's Agatha Christie's Death on the Nile, and I actually have it as an audiobook. I'm listening to that. I started today and I'm halfway through it, so hopefully things go well for me. And then the second challenge is read a book on your backlist that intimidates you the most. So I already started that book, but it intimidated the heck of me because it's this book, Six of Crows, and it's written in the Grisha universe, and there's already been a trilogy in the universe. So the first few chapters are really confusing, especially chapter 2. So I haven't read the previous trilogy and things were really confusing to me. I even like made notes to be able to get through the chapter. I think there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 10 different characters introduced in chapter 2. And chapter 1, by the way, was about some other characters that don't reappear in the book, so far at least. And there are loads of I don't know if there's nations or groups that are mentioned, and places where they are in the city, like 6 different landmarks kind of, or places. And getting through it, I started listening to it on an audiobook, and I just remember listening to it like the whole second chapter, and I just couldn't remember a word from that chapter. And I would listen to it again and I would forget everything. And then I got the book from the library and I skimmed the first chapter because I had already listened to it and understood it quite well on Audible. And then I read the second chapter and I was just as confused, and then I took some notes and then I was able to get through it. Now I'm on chapter 5 and yeah, I'm kind of forcing myself to finish because so many people say it's such a good book, and I have a feeling that in the end I will enjoy this book, but it's a rough beginning for me, like especially for a person who has trouble with attention sometimes. This is a killer for me. So this is the most intimidating book on my reading list. The third challenge is read a backlist you added as a recommendation from someone else. So as I said previously, I wanted to expand my horizon this year, and after I tried out like a really short comic, I decided, well, maybe it's time now to try manga. And my niece, she's been reading loads and loads and loads of manga and trying to get me into it for years, and I just haven't felt the urge to ever. But I've seen here on BookTube that a lot of people are reading it, and there are some fantasy mangas, because I didn't really know much about mangas except that they were Japanese comics. So she did lend me 3. The Blue Exorcist, the first 3 books in the Blue Exorcist series, and since every book is like 4 chapters, something like that, she recommended that I would read 3 before I made up my mind about them, because you can't really decide if you like them or not until you've read more than 4 chapters. So yeah, this is going to fall down. Next challenge is read a backlist title that you are most excited for. So I read this book the other day that was recommended to me on Reddit, and it's called Green Rider. It's by Kristen Britton. Where is it? I think I have it here. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's like really amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. So, wait, never mind. I'll put it here. It's going to fall out. No, don't fall out. Okay, never mind. Put it here. Never mind. So, I wanted to read everything's falling down here. I wanted to read the second book in the series, and they didn't have it at the bookstore, and they don't have it in any library in the country. So I had them order it for me, because it kind of costs the same as ordering it myself online. But I'm helping the fantasy bookstore grow by going through them, and it cost me the same. So the most excited for is First Writer's Call by Kristen Britton. So this is about, well, the first book is about Kerrigan Gladian, who is a girl who was kicked out of school, and she ends up becoming, through a series of events, like a messenger for the king, and she's being chased. And yeah, I don't want to spoil it for you, so I'm not going to say anything more at this point. So this is the second book in the series, and I don't know what happens in it, but the first one was so good that I really want to read the next. Yeah, read a diverse backlist title. So I chose The Kingdom of Gods by N.K. Jemisin. She's one of my favorite authors, and I read the first book, 2 books in her Inheritance trilogy, which this is from. This is the 3rd book in the Inheritance trilogy, and I'm really excited about it. The 6th challenge is read a backlist with blue on the cover. And you guys, I'm not gonna read 6 books in 1 week. I'll be lucky if I'll get through 2 or 3. So I just chose this again, because it's blue. I don't remember who's hosting this readathon, but I'll link them in the description below. Oh yeah, and there's another readathon that I decided to join. Spring into Reading 2020. So the first challenge is spring cleaning. Read a book that has been collecting dust on your shelf. And that is a book called Purge. It's originally Pudistus. It's by Sophie Oksanen. She is a Finnish-Estonian writer. I have the Icelandic translation of it. I don't have an English translation of it, but I do have the Icelandic one. And this is it. I think it's really pretty, don't you? Anyway, yeah. So that's my first pick. There are 7 challenges, so it's a lot. The second challenge is, it's time for a vacay. Read a book with travel or vacation in it. And I had gone to the library the other day to choose a few books to read, and I don't think that I'm going to be able to get through them all, because of this these readathons that I decided to join. So hopefully I can extend the loan. But this happens on a ship. It's called His Majesty's Dragon. It's by Naomi Novik. Can you see it? And it's the first book in the Temporary series. And I do have an audiobook version of this also, so I thought it would make a good choice. But it starts on a boat, so I guess that counts as travel. Number 3, Love is in the Air. Read a romance or a book centered around friendship. And I chose It Started with a Miss by Lara Golden, and I don't have a physical copy right here. I have it on my Kindle app. Wait, can you see? It's an advanced reader's copy that I got, and I think it's going to be published this month. And it's a romance, and it also happens to also fulfill the 4th challenge, which is Tiptoe Through the Tulips. Read a book with pink and or yellow on the cover. So I've got that covered here. And then the 5th challenge is Over the Rainbow. Read a classic fairy tale or a retelling. And for that I chose the next book in this series. I think it's called Lunar Chronicles. The series is called Lunar Chronicles. And the next book is called Scarlet. And it's a retelling, so... And I really enjoyed this book, so I think Scarlet is going to be a fast read for me also. So, the 6th challenge is Women's March. Read a book with a strong female character. And I chose the first book for that also. This one, which is called Purge in English. They say it's a story about 2 women who are bent and broken and humiliated, but they always rise up again, and that counts as being strong in my books. So that one fulfills that. And then there's the 7th challenge, which is Spring Break Bash. Read the group book, which is If I'm Being Honest by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca. Yeah, I don't have that one anywhere, and they don't have it here. I think that I'm going to see if I'm going to read it or not. If I end up having time to read it, if I'm able to finish all the other books, then I'm going to read it, and then I'll just download it on my Kindle app and read it on my phone. Those are the books that I've chosen, and this Spring Into Reading 2020 challenge or readathon is March 19th until March 29th. So that gives me 2 days to read something more or catch up on things. I hope I will be able to finish this. It's a lot of books, guys. It's a lot of books. And I believe in myself, but I don't think I believe that much in myself, because I've chosen some pretty long books here. Some not so long, but others are very long. So hopefully I'll be able to read all of those books in the last 20 days of this month. Oh yes, goodbye. If you liked the video, please hit subscribe and ring the bell so you get an announcement when I upload my next video. Until next time, bye!